All right, we're back. So, where were we in our last thing here? We were talking about essentially raising money. Because when an individual becomes old enough to get a job, we essentially, that's what we become, is a fundraiser. We do so for our own benefit, for our families, for um, making repairs on our vehicles, and for home maintenance. And we get our first property, probably going to be a rental. We save money so that we can, grow and improve. That's the idea of going through school. And yet, when we come out, we're here on this left side, and we don't even know this right side about the business owners and the investors. We don't even know this exists. Why is that? So, for me to be here today, understand I'm not a guru, and I'm not asking you for any money. I'm going to show you. In fact, I'm going to give you 10 grand. That's what I'm here for. I don't have any. There's so many gurus out there, that educators that want, you give me, give me, give me. I have a book to sell, and if 20 million people buy my book for $1 a book, I made 20 million. So now I'm a guru. I mean, I know these things, and I'm going to teach you. It's kind of not what I'm doing here. I mean, let me show you real quick here just how simple it is to get 10 grand if you didn't have it. If I gave you 10 grand right now, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope. I'll send you a check for $10,000. Just tell me who to make it out to. What would you do with it? There's a guy named Robert Allen. He wrote a book called Nothing Down, and he did a few other things. But he talks about the two different types of people, two different types of investments. Somebody might say, well, I'm going to put it over here in this holding tank because I don't know exactly what to do with it yet. But I think if I learned how to invest this money, I could make it work for me, but I don't know how to invest yet. So I'm going to take the 10,000 and I'm going to put it over here, and maybe I'll invest in real estate, maybe I'll invest in the secondary mortgage markets, maybe I'll invest in whatever. I could have a ketchup business, a ketchup and mustard business, or I can get my house painted, and I can get new wheels for my car. I could do things with it that don't produce income. And if that's the mindset that you have, you're probably not going to get ahead. And it's not difficult to understand why. You were never taught this right side philosophy. Money is not the most important thing in the world, and understand that. Even like Napoleon Hill's written a couple of different books about thinking and growing rich, and I think over a period of time he wrote books all the way from the time he was 20 to the time he was 80. And even he'll tell you in there that there's maybe a list of 10 things in life that are important. Money is being at the very bottom. Money is not going to make you happy. It just gives you different issues and different problems to work with. But the platform, we all need to make a living. So the platform here for investing money, you can do it at any level you want. But you have to begin someplace. And for most people, the way to begin is to say, all right, I know I need to do this, but how do I? Instead, we're afraid. Invest. How do we get this fear? Fear of investing money, fear of starting a business. Most businesses, you're going to lose some money through trial and error, through experimenting, advertising, and I mean the list goes on. Overhead just to pay an employee, to have a telephone, to pay rental on a lease a space. Even if you do it from a room in your house, you're still making a payment for the most part to somebody, or taxes. There's going to be an overhead expense, so it's lost money, out of pocket. And you might as well just accept that, plain and simple. And if you say, well, I don't have any money to invest and I can't afford to lose any, well, that's the best time to learn about investing, because you don't have anything to lose. All you have is something to gain. So you want to invest, if anything, invest in your own brain. Invest in, well, what could I do? But we want to come back over here. Take a notebook pad with you. And if you're a little further along in this, then skip the rest of this video. But you need to know what it is you're thinking about and what is going on in your own head most of the day. Take a notebook pad with you. Take your phone if you've got one, or set a timer with you, however you do it. 6, 7 times throughout the day. And you don't have to blast your timer so that the whole world knows you got a timer going. But ask yourself, what was I just thinking about? And really, if you're driving or something, you don't have to do this. Use a little common sense. You stop at a restaurant later on in the day and you say, maybe it's 5 o'clock, and you think to yourself, well, I'm sitting here eating. What was I thinking about at 1:15 when my timer went off? So you go back in your mind, you say, gee, I was thinking about, whatever it was, and you jot that down, you put the time and the date on it, and you kind of keep a log for maybe a while until you can kind of do this without the timer. And you have to ask yourself a question: why was I thinking about that? What benefit did I have thinking about a conversation that I had with a first grade teacher 80 years ago, or whatever it is? But there are things you want to think about, and there are things that you don't want to think about. And this is my personal feelings when it comes to how did we get over on this left side in the first place. For the majority of the people here, the normal thing to do is to turn on the news. We turn on the radio. We listen to podcasts. Oh, but I like listening to that. Has it given you any benefit? The difference between the left side and the right side is these people have information that these people do not have. And many of them began on this side. So they went ahead on a quest, and they said, well, how do I do this? And the first thing you mention to somebody on the left side about investing money is, oh, my uncle did that. Oh, my friend did that. He lost money. He lost money. What is it? What are they really saying? I'm afraid. I don't know how. Oh, I'm running away from this investing thing here. Going into the real estate markets. I had a friend of mine years ago. I had printed up some business cards, and on the one side of the business card it says 100 GYR. Buy ketchup. When you run out, buy ketchup again. And I had my phone number and name on the back of the card, and I didn't tell him what I was doing, but I went ahead and showed him my card. It looked pretty cool. And he says, well, what is this? This isn't what we do with this business. You can't do this. And I'm thinking, well, and he also told me nobody's going to make any money doing that. And I thought, well, what about the Heinz Corporation? Between ketchup, mustard, and relish, they make $1 billion a day. So I didn't agree with him, but I was so naive and so dumb at that point that I never used those cards again. I ended up throwing them away because one of his friends, who was making more money than me at the time, also said the same thing he did. So he kind of stole my dream away. But this is the thing: once you're over here, you can think for yourself. And what the news does, and things that we just turn on as part of being normal, they teach you or suggest to you subliminally, I don't care what you want to call it, basically you don't know how to think. I know you got your own brain, but you don't need to bother with that. You just stay over here on this side and do what you're told. Just follow along, and we'll tell you what to do. But we don't want you to know about this right side over here. So it's spooky over here. It's scary. We don't want you to go over here. You could lose money. Oh. This is because, I know more than you, and this is sort of the subliminal aspect of it. For me, the news it's not that you stick your head in the sand. You're kind of aware of what's going on, but what do you want me to do about it? I have people right here in my own neighborhood that are trying to make their trek over here so that they can better support and provide for their families. And that's what I think, what you want to do as well. So the number one thing here is to take your thinking, jot down on a piece of paper several times a day,